So today I finally got a chance to sit down and watch Rising Phoenix on Netflix. A little bit after I did the Zoom meeting, I was just exhausted. And I even posted a small clip of it, the beginning of it, on my IG, Instagram that is. And I think I said finally got the time to watch Rising Phoenix. I don't know what kind of YouTube videos I'll be making on it. So far, I'm thinking empathy. Humans love to destroy things. We need to teach kids at an early age to appreciate and respect people who look different from us. So far, that's all I can think of. I'll sleep on it. Hopefully, more things to come in mind. So I didn't sleep yet. It's still the same day. I took a shower and I was about to go to bed, and I had some energy. Usually, after I try to take a shower, I have some energy. But when I posted it, it was somewhat maybe 10% of the documentary. But as I continued watching it, more things came to mind. Because I started seeing that French guy who was from Africa. They mentioned the name of the country. I was multitasking as I'm watching the thing, dealing with the kids. So I'm gonna miss some terms or names and stuff here and there. But I probably will sit and watch it again. But the majority of the thing I saw the cut was that French guy who originally from Africa, how he became disabled is through war. He watched his mom, they kill his mom and they cut his leg and stuff like that. I mean, I guess this is why I said human love to destroy things. People need to have empathy. You have young guys who just see to hurt other people, to destroy things. So these were the things that came in mind when I saw that. And that same person, that African descent guy who now represent France, he was saying how he saw his mom got killed. He was running for his life, and they forced him to watch. I believe that's what he said. I might be wrong. You guys could correct me. They forced him to watch his mom die, and he got cut by his ear, his face, his leg got chopped off and stuff like that. So he became disabled, and when he finally got up out of his coma, he was in the hospital and stuff like that. He thought he had died and stuff. So that's that. That's one thing when it comes to empathy and human love to destroy things. And as I continue watching it, and they start talking about Rio, Brazil, when the Olympic was awarded to Rio, and they started doing things to build the stadium. Issues start coming up. They need money and stuff like that. And the people who were, I guess, organizing or building stuff, the first place that they thought of grabbing money from to do whatever it is that they were doing was through the Paralympics. And that brought, this is where you see good and bad and human. We don't know what they do with the money. I don't want to judge, but usually, and I don't want to say things that I don't know. But in places where there's, again, I'm really trying to watch my mouth, what I say here. But when they said that they took money from the Paralympic, and they were gonna go do that, but you have people who stood up for the Paralympians, because they wanted them to have a moment too. They wanted them all those 4 years they were training to be at that moment. So they were fighting for them, and the people who were fighting for them, they were not disabled. And this is why sometimes when I look at the Black Lives Matter movement, you see I'm writing some note here before I forget. Fitness starting point. Sorry, starting point. Okay. When you look at the Black Lives Matter, the people who are out on the street, you don't just see black people and stuff like that. You see all type of people out there fighting for the common good. So it's the same thing that I saw with the Paralympic, where those people who were not disabled, but they wanted those Paralympians to have their moment too, because they train as hard as anybody else, any Olympians. So they wanted them to have their moment. So the note that I was writing here is that in fitness, when I look at the Paralympians, you know, some of them were born like that, and then eventually certain things happen. I think one of them, the where was she from? Was it England or Australia? I'm not sure. The fencing girl. I'm not sure where she's from. Where she was born normal, but due to disease, what was Legionnaire? I'm not sure the name of the disease, but she had to had multiple surgeries until they had to amputate her legs and stuff like that. So these kind of things crush people. You know, not everyone born with disability. So things happen throughout life that lead them to be certain way in life. So when I look at the Paralympians, where people like some groups like Russia who did not want to do, they just look down on disables. They didn't even want to host the Paralympians. And one of the Olympians that were shown there is from Russia, and she was adopted by a family in the U.S. So when I look at all of this, everybody have a starting point. And when I talk to people about fitness, even though I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a nutritionist and stuff like that, but when they look at my body to see, when I was pregnant and I blew up like a balloon, but once I decided to lose the pregnancy weight, it didn't take me too long to lose it. But everyone have a starting point. But you cannot look at someone who's been working out for probably the entire life. They look good, they look fit, and then you're just starting and you want to be at that level. So there's a gradual way of doing things to reach a certain level. But it's the work that you put into things to reach a certain level. So you have people who's taking advantage of the disabled. And thank God we had, the Paralympians had people who stood up for them to say, no, you had money, the money was distributed somewhat equally. Why do you see this is where you have to take money from and then to automatically want to cancel the Paralympian? They are human beings too. They work as hard as anybody. So they had to fight for them to have the opportunity to display their hard work. And it's a shame to see that. And also that same Russian lady, she was adopted as a child by American family, where people look at disabled as like a nuisance or something like that. She saw something that she could do, but there weren't anything that was available for her to do. So she wanted to race with the other people. Everybody could have their own opinion about it, but the main thing is everybody have to display their capability. All right, let's say you have your 2 feet, you're normal, okay? And then you have someone who's a, how do you call them? Paralygian or something like that? Someone who's in a wheelchair. and you race with them. So your ability to use your feet and that wheelchair person, his or her ability to use his arm, you could match that to see how well you could display your ability, your, where you are now. That doesn't mean it's hard to explain, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Everyone have a starting point, but it's how you use your ability to display your courage, pretty much. So yeah, when I saw that they were trying to take money from the Paralympians in Rio, one thing that came to mind, and it's something I sort of touched base on it on another video, and I wanted to make a video of it within itself, but I see it fits here. We have seen throughout life, for some reason, those people who are able with their, who are healthy, their 2 feet, 2 hands, they could speak, they could use their brain, normal people. For some reason, they seem to be the only one who always in need of money. Throughout history, you always see that. They always need money. But yet, when we look at society right now, all these people always need money. How come our world, it doesn't matter if a third world country or, US or European countries, they always need money. For what? Majority of them just want war to destroy. And one clip I'm going to insert here, hopefully I do not get flagged, is, I believe it's, what's the name of it? It's a documentary I saw on YouTube of Edward One documentary. So I will put the link of this in the description. It's about, I'll say 45, close to an hour video, and it discussed about Edward the First, how he was able to obtain his money to fund his war. And when I had mentioned him, I don't think I said his name directly, but I think I said, you will not believe who sort of started about killing Jews or something like that. But that had to do with Jews. So I'm going to put the clip here, but there's more to it. I'm just going to put a small portion of it. So there it is.
In contrast to this, a particularly dark chapter in Edward's reign was his persecution and eventual expulsion from the country of its Jewish population. This was nothing new, as Simon de Montfort himself had been responsible for several massacres of Jews, such as in Worcester, and a clampdown of Jewish communities had occurred across Europe before. The main reason for the Jewish persecution in England around this time was that Edward had partially funded his campaigns with Jewish money in the shape of loans. This was because Christians were forbidden in the Bible to lend money. Therefore, one of the few sources of capital the king and the population could obtain was from the Jewish lenders. This is one of the root causes of anti-Semitism in Europe, as many Christians in England and throughout the continent were indebted to Jews, which made them increasingly unpopular, and is the root cause of the perception that Jewish people are good with money. Edward then, in 1275, banned Jews from selling expensive or high-interest loans to the population, which were known as usury, and then, 4 years later, had hundreds of Jews executed after they were accused of debasing or defacing the coinage by cutting off the edges from gold and silver coins, which was known as coin clipping. All of this then culminated in 1290, when Edward expelled Jews from England altogether, and then seized their property and assets, which he then used to further fund his military campaigns. This money was needed, as another crisis then loomed, as Edward's near constant campaigning and heavy taxation eventually drove the English nobility and population to near revolt. The growing unrest and resentment occurred between 1297 and the time of his death, as Edward was engaged in conflict both against Scotland and on the continent around this time, which required more and more taxes, grants, and levies to sustain. However, the discontentment throughout the country was curtailed after the English defeat to the Scots at Stirling Bridge, as fears of Scottish invasion brought some unity within the nobility and population as.
So he wanted money to fund his war, but he was borrowing money from the Jews, and when it's time to pay the Jews back, and the smear campaign again, similar to how in England, when blacks were starting to get on their feet, they start doing all those smear campaign on tabloid, how bad the blacks were, and all of this. So it's almost the same thing, with the Jews. The Jews know how to take care of their money. They know how to handle their money. So when they lend Edward the First money, for him not to return the money, he just create a smear campaign and persecute them. I mean, this is evil at every level. But coming back to the Rising Phoenix part is the fact that you had people who stood up for them, who said no. Money was distributed equally. If you're gonna take money from them, you're gonna have to open the books and show us how you spend your money. So obviously, when people don't want to show the books, there's something fishy that went in there somewhere. So they had to just watch it, because I missed a couple part here because I was getting up to help the kids do different things, so I probably missed a couple important part of it. So I probably will have to watch it again. But it's a good documentary. If you watch it, you'll have a different perspective of them. And I remember, which Olympic was that? And was it the one in England? It could have been the one in England. I remember after the regular Olympic had done, I watched it and everything, and I didn't even know they had the Paralympic. They were not showing it as much as they were showing the regular Olympics. So people need to speak up more. Not only speak up, demand for it, to show it on TV, so these Paralympians can have sponsors and things like that. So I think it's something, looking at Prince Harry, another person who's fighting for those who need the voice. The same way that I said the Black Lives Matter, you not only see black people on the street, you see all type of people on the street. So it's the same thing for Harry when it comes to the disabled. He didn't have to do any of this, but yet he's, look all the things he created for the Invictus, for soldiers, and what he did at the Rio Olympic and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything. I did write some notes somewhere. Okay, let me just read it out loud, see if I Rio, money taken from the Paralympic, not fair, that was my note. Comparing money taken from Jews for war, I said that. At least athletes training for years, but they don't take the disabled seriously. Yeah, I think that was with the Russian who didn't want to host them, and it's kind of unfair. And that young lady who was adopted at the age of 6 from Russia, so they just put her in a house like, this is lesser, she's no good, she's defect or something like that. But remember, in one of my video I said that it doesn't matter who you are, rich, poor, disabled, blind, whatever, each one of us hold a key to the puzzle of the greater good for humanity. So even the disabled, they have something to offer as part of our society. We just need to give them the chance. Okay, Russia refused to host the disables. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I said Edward one documentary. Okay, so that's with the Jews. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think. And yeah, if anything comes into mind, I will, I guess, create another video about it. But for now, that's all I can think of. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share.